The first time I saw him, I felt something strange crawl over my skin. They called him Oba, and he came from very far, that's what Ada told us. Nobody really knew where. One day she just returned from her aunt's place in Icom, and boom, she had a fiancé. We were shocked. Ada was a village beauty. Brown skin that glowed without cream. Good manners. Every young man in Ogboko wanted her. But she always said, men in this village don't understand me. Now she brought Oba, tall, quiet, and neat like a white-collar Lagos banker. But he didn't act normal. He didn't eat in public. He didn't greet elders properly. He only spoke when asked direct questions. And when he did, he had a deep voice that made even our old dog bark and run away. He always wore long-sleeved shirts. No matter the heat. The village elders were not pleased, but Ada defended him every time. Not everyone likes noise, she said. Oba is calm. He's just different. My mother asked once, where are his people? Ada smiled and said, what took them? That was the end of the conversation. The wedding happened quickly. A small thing. No dancing. No spraying of money. Just food, a few chairs under a mango tree, and two strangers joined as husband and wife. After marriage, Ada changed. She stopped coming to women meetings. She stopped going to choir practice. She even stopped talking to me, her closest friend. Her skin started looking dull. Like her blood was tired. But she smiled a lot. The kind of smile you wear when you're trying to convince yourself you're okay. One evening, Mama Uche, the oldest woman in the village, called a few of us and said, I saw Ada's husband in my dream. He has no bones. He slithered. We all laughed nervously. But deep down, some of us knew something wasn't right. Still, nobody said anything serious. After all, how do you tell someone their husband might not be human? We left it alone. We all acted like everything was fine. But me. I started watching. And the more I watched, the more afraid I became. Every day at exactly 6 p.m., Oba left the house. It didn't matter what was happening, rain, thunder, village meeting, once the sun began to fall, he would quietly slip into the forest path behind their house. No one ever saw where he went. No one followed. And he never explained. Ada said he was meditating. He's very spiritual, she told me once, her voice soft like she didn't fully believe herself. He needs time alone. That's how he connects to his ancestors. I nodded, but I didn't believe her. I had seen spiritual men. They don't avoid sunlight. They don't hiss in their sleep. Yes, I said hiss. One time I passed near their window early in the morning, and I heard it. Long, sharp, and low. Like something pressed against glass. When I paused to listen, I heard Ada's voice, soft and shaky, like she was calming something down. She was saying, I'm here. I'm here. My skin crawled. From that day, I stopped thinking of Oba as quiet. I started seeing him as something else. Something watching. Waiting. Then the chickens started disappearing. One or two at first. Then someone's goat. Then a whole basket of eggs from Mom Nkechi's backyard. The elders said it was thieves. But no footprints were found. No signs of struggle. Just missing animals and feathers scattered like confetti. It was as if something was swallowing them whole. One night, I couldn't sleep. I had too many thoughts in my head. So I sat outside with my mat. That was when I saw Oba pass by. Shirtless this time. His back was pale and smooth like polished wood. But what scared me wasn't the skin. It was the line. From the back of his neck to his waist, there was a faint scale-like pattern, glowing slightly under the moonlight. Like snake skin hidden under human flesh. I froze. He didn't see me. He just walked into the forest, barefoot, silent. I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? Everyone thought I was too imaginative. But I started writing things down. Every night he disappeared. Every time an animal went missing. I knew one day, the truth would slip out. And when it did, it would be too late for all of us. At first, it was small things. Ada stopped wearing slippers. She said her feet felt hot. Even when the ground burned like charcoal in dry season, she walked around barefoot, as unfocused like she was somewhere else. Then she stopped eating normal food. No more yam or beans or akara. She only drank raw eggs. 5 or 6 every morning, straight from the shell. No salt. No pepper. Just slimy egg and silence. We all noticed, but nobody talked. When I finally had the courage to visit her, I saw the inside of her house for the first time since the wedding. The place didn't smell like home anymore. There was no scent of stew or fried plantain. No baby oil or powder. It smelled damp. Like water and something old. The curtains were drawn even though it was broad daylight. The walls looked wet in some parts. Her sofa was missing. Only a mat remained in the sitting room. And in one corner of the room, I saw something that made my chest tight, a pile of cracked eggshells and feathers. I asked her, Ada, are you okay? She smiled, but it was strange. Her lips moved, but her eyes didn't follow. I've never been better. Oba takes care of me. Then she touched her stomach and whispered, something is growing. I didn't know whether to be happy or afraid. Was she pregnant? She didn't look it. But her eyes glowed like someone under a spell. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I went outside around midnight, just to breathe. From my backyard, I could see the back of Ada's house. A dim lantern was on in their bathroom. The window was half open. What I saw made my knees weak. Oba stood facing a mirror, shirtless. His entire skin was peeling, slowly and carefully, like he was removing a disguise. I saw scales beneath the human layer. Real scales. Brown and black, shiny like wet wood. His mouth opened wider than any human should. And Ada, she stood behind him, combing his tail like it was hair. I ran inside and locked the door. That was the night I knew Ada wasn't married to a man. She was married to something else. Something ancient. Something wicked. And she didn't care. People started whispering. At first, it was about the smell coming from Ada's compound, a strong, raw scent like rotting eggs and wet bush. Then came the flies. Big ones. Black and slow. They circled her roof during the day and disappeared at night. Children stopped playing near her yard. Even dogs refused to go near the gate. Mama Uche, the old woman who had warned us months ago, started calling meetings with other elders. That man is not ordinary, she said again. There's something inside that house that does not belong in this world. But no one had proof. Just fear. One brave man, Ponoji, swore he would get to the bottom of it. He waited one evening outside their compound, hoping to follow Oba during one of his nightly disappearances. The next morning, they found Ponoji under a tree, shaking. He couldn't speak. His lips moved but no words came out. He was clutching a torn piece of black cloth. His eyes were wide open. They never closed again. He died 2 days later. That was when even the foolish people stopped talking. But not me. I kept watching. I kept writing. One evening, I saw Ada walking alone through the market. Her feet were bleeding, but she didn't seem to notice. She walked slowly, her stomach now big and round like a drum. She stopped at the egg seller and bought 3 crates. No bargaining. She paid in cash and walked back home with all of them on her head. She didn't even wobble. That night, my cousin Ifeoma told me something strange. She said she had a dream where Eddie gave birth, not in the hospital, not at home, but in the middle of the forest, on a pile of feathers. She said Oba was there, but not in human form. He had wrapped himself around her body like a blanket. In the dream, the baby wasn't crying. It was hissing. Ifeoma cried when she woke up. I didn't tell her I had seen almost the same thing in real life. I just held her hand and said, "You're not mad. Something is wrong with Ada." But it was already too late. The baby was almost here. And the village didn't know what was about to crawl out of that house. It happened quietly, no cries, no shouting, no help. 1 minute, Ada was pregnant. The next, her belly was flat and she disappeared. It was Mama Nkechi who noticed first. "I haven't seen Ada in days," she said as we fetched water near the stream. "Even the flies around her house have left." People were too afraid to go near, but I couldn't hold it in anymore. I told my mother everything: the forest walks, the hissing sounds, the glowing eyes, the scales. She looked at me like I was crazy, but she didn't stop me. She just said, "Don't go near that house again." But I did. That night, I crept behind their compound and stood by the open bathroom window. The light was on, but the house was dead silent. Not even a baby's cry. I peeked in, and what I saw still makes my chest tighten. The floor was wet with blood. Not the kind from injury. But blood. Thick, dark, and everywhere. There was a trail leading from the bedroom to the back door. I followed it with my eyes and noticed a pile of eggshells, broken open and smeared in yolk. Then I saw something move under the bed. It was long. Shiny. Breathing. I didn't wait. I ran back to the village square and screamed. "Something has happened. Ada is gone." People rushed to her house. Some with sticks. Others with charms and holy water. They broke down the front door. There was no Ada. No Oba. No baby. Just what I had seen: cracked shells, dried blood, and in the center of the room, a burned photo from her wedding day. Half of Oba's face was gone from the flames. The other half looked more like a snake than a man. Old Mama Uche stood in the doorway, staring into the house. She whispered, "It wasn't just marriage. It was a covenant." That night, no one slept. The elders poured salt and holy water around the compound. The youth burned the mattress. But it felt useless. The baby had been born. But it wasn't one of us. And Ada had followed it, willingly. They never came back. Not Ada. Not Oba. Not even the baby. People said they ran away. But I don't believe that. You don't run without your clothes, your money, your shoes. You don't run and leave behind snakeskin on your bed. Yes, snakeskin. After the crowd left that night, I snuck back in with a torchlight. I don't know what pulled me there. Maybe I needed to see with my own eyes, one last time. On their bed was a long, thick layer of shiny skin, curved like something just finished peeling out of it. It was dry, almost transparent, but still smelled alive. Like something that didn't belong on earth. And beside it was a piece of Ada's wrapper. Torn. Bloody. As if she had changed into something else, or been taken by something else. For weeks, the house stood empty. No one touched it. Not even thieves. The grass grew tall. The flies returned. And the smell, it never left. Then strange things started happening. Chickens that had gone missing months ago started showing up dead, dried out and headless. One child went missing near the bush path. His sandals were found, but not him. People began to whisper again, the snake spirit is still here. The elders held cleansing rituals. They poured goat blood at the crossroads. Women fasted and prayed. Some families even left the village. But me, I stayed. Because I couldn't forget her. Ada was my friend. My sister in everything but blood. And yet, she chose a creature over us. She saw what we didn't, or maybe she belonged to it all along. Some say Oba was never a man. That he took human form to find a bride. That Ada was chosen. Marked from birth. All I know is, love can blind people. She thought she was special. She thought she could handle it. She thought we were the problem. But the night she left behind something more terrifying than her silence. She left behind proof. The snake skin. The eggshells. The blood. And every time I close my eyes at night, I still hear the hissing, soft, long, deep, like it's coming from underground. And I wonder if she's still out there, lying beside him. Or if she became something else entirely.